Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between mouzHasu and Cloud, this time on Lost Temple. I have a 3-game set between these players. I don't know if it's a best of 3 or best of 5 series. I try not to read any of that information just because if that is the case, and yeah, it just reveals a lot of the game, and I don't really want to know who wins as I watch these games with you. We have Hasu now spawning at the 6 o'clock location as the red Protoss player. Meanwhile, on the north side of the map, we have Cloud spawning as, I guess this is the light teal, or yeah, this is more of a teal Terran player, but it is a dirty teal as it is on top of this command center here. So yeah, I'll just call him blue just because it is close enough to blue for me to not try to stumble over my words. Now coming in, we now see Hasu setting up, once again, very interestingly enough, a pylon over here away from his front door. We saw this type of play come in on Xel'Naga Caverns. However, there are only 2 spawning locations in Xel'Naga Caverns, so it's fairly easy to find your opponent very quickly. However, what's going to be happening from Hasu is Hasu will be able to get a gateway over here in just a moment. And because the gateways are just so far out of the way and difficult to find, when that Terran player begins to scout, he may think that he missed some sort of proxy 2 gate. Hasu now coming in, trying to chrono boost off of this Nexus once again, getting a stronger and stronger economy. Meanwhile, we finally see an SCV moving out from Cloud. So Cloud moving out with this SCV in order to gain some sight on the map and figure out what exactly is happening and going on around the map at this time. We also have a refinery a refinery currently being placed down, as Cloud does not want to only train up Marines out of the barracks. He wants to get higher and higher tech units. We also see an assimilator coming in from Hasu, so I believe we are going to see a Cybernetics core followed by a pylon in order to make sure that Hasu does not go into or does not become supply locked. So wait for it. There we go. Now getting that Cybernetics core. So Cybernetics core before a pylon, and then he will end up being supply locked for just a moment as he's trying to get another pylon in right there. There we go. Finally getting that pylon, and I believe that the pylon takes a little bit of time to build. Oh, 25 time to build. So I believe that's actually a little bit faster than a supply depot, so that is actually pretty fast, and that timing it would be absolutely perfect to not be supply locked, I believe. So you can see him, he's going to be supply locked for just an instant, or maybe 2 seconds at the most, as now we finally see an SCV wandering around on the inside of this base, able to see that Cybernetics core now come into play. So the key question is going to be, will he be trying to get that warp gate, which he already is? How many gateways is he going to try to go for? He could go for a 4-gate push. He already has a probe over here by this one Xel'Naga watchtower, so we'll be able to gain sight and then continue to move out. This SCV now still wandering around on the inside of this base. He has a lot of energy on this Nexus, now continuing to chrono boost that Cybernetics core. Each chrono boost essentially shaves off 10 seconds of build time as long as you continue to chrono boost. So yeah, this is looking on very, very well. Instead of 140 game seconds, it will only take 110 game seconds, and another chrono boost most likely will make it down to 110. So 120 now down to 110, and that warp gate research will be finished up in just a moment. Because of the amount of what chrono boost that I've been seeing off of this Nexus, it looks as though Hasu is trying to go for at least a 3-gate, if not a 4-gate push. We also see a probe now trying to move back over here, and also a Reaper joining in on this fight. A 2nd gateway nearing completion as well, and now chrono boosting this Cybernetics core. A chrono boosted, by using that warp gate, you really shave off the build time on any of those units. Instead of 38 build time for a Zealot, it becomes a 28 cooldown time off of that warp gate. So that indeed it is very, very strong. We do see another gateway and 1 pylon sitting over here, and now finally warping in some additional units over here with 1 stalker. So Hasu now sitting on 3 stalkers. However, he will not be able to push out just because of these Marauders, SCV, and Marine. That SCV acts a little bit as a meat shield, trying to absorb some of that damage away from those Marauders. And now 4 stalkers moving out, trying to deal some damage, and now quickly going after that 1 Marauder there. Down goes a Marauder, down goes another stalker as well, trying to pull back and doing a good job so far. And now Cloud, a little bit of a mess up there. He was trying to focus fire and target down mouzHasu's low hit point stalker. However, he did not change targets, and the other stalkers were just able to get free shots off and take it down. Now Cloud playing a little bit more of a defensive game, getting a bunker on this high ground, and with a bunker on the high ground and upgrading to an orbital command, he will be able, 2 bunkers on this high ground, will be able to defend any early aggression that comes out from these stalkers and zealots, as I do not see a robotics facility currently training an immortal. I do see a robotics facility. Most likely it will be an observer first though, so wait for it. Wait, nope. Okay. I guess mouzHasu made a liar out of me. I thought he was going for a warp prism. Okay, very nice. So now going for a warp prism instead of an observer, and I really like this play. Normally, a lot of Terran players would not expect to see a warp prism play, and with the size of the base, you can get a warp prism into this location here, and then just warp units into that back door and location, which makes it very, very difficult when SCV quickly getting taken down. However, now we also see an SCV coming into position over here. Will that SCV be able to spot that warp prism is the key question. Warp prisms only move at a 2.5 movement speed, so it looks as though they equalize all the movement speeds across all of the transport vessels except for that Overlord, which is not almost all of them. I guess that's 1/3. But this warp prism now trying to make its way out across the map. We do see some stalkers, and it looks as though a pylon also going to be warped in here. So a little curious as to what's going on here. So with a pylon being warped in here as well, we are going to see a warp prism now going to phase mode and now unload all of these units here onto that high ground. So a lot of units, a lot of zealots now trying to move out and then picking up units and then dropping them. So nicely done. I like that elevator drop right there with that phase warp prism as these stalkers now continue to fight back and forth. More zealots need to be warped in. Will it be enough as those stalkers are able to just jump into that position right there and now finally moving away, canceling that pylon and then dropping these units once again. So also doing a good job of using that range of 6 compared to a range of 5. Warp Prism has 140 hit points and now able to return back home. We now see more stalkers currently warping in over here as one SCV trying to get the heck out of dodge. Also the Nexus has a lot of energy. A little surprised that mouzHasu isn't trying to continue to chrono boost more and more things. We do in fact have that Twilight Council up, and now an observer finally being trained by Hasu, as Hasu needs to take a look into the base of Cloud to figure out what exactly the strategy is. You can see that Cloud does have a command center here. However, he is not trying to take his low ground expansion just quite yet. Just being happy to be able to mine out of this one refinery here with an additional help of an SCV. This SCV has options in terms of where it wants to return that gas, this orbital command or this orbital command. However, that has changed, and now a warp prism most likely going to change up over here and perhaps try to warp in some additional stalkers. And I do not believe you can warp in any units onto that high ground, so we do see a group of Marines. However, those Marines will not be able to see that warp prism, so that warp prism in a very, very nice position, able to warp in units along this corner. However, it will be easily spotted as soon if he does in fact try to warp in units. And one zealot currently warping in there and now going to make its way over a factory, now trying to fly along that north ledge, as well as one zealot. Zealot does not have zealot charge, and now making its way right into that mineral line. Will be able to get down one SCV, 2 SCVs very, very quickly, and now perhaps warp in more units. No, this one zealot getting 3 quick kills, so very nicely done, knowing that that zealot is worth its minerals, at least getting 3 kills, equaling out to 150 minerals there. We now see a group of stalkers still sitting here, waiting by the Zelnaga watchtower, perhaps wants to do some aggression once again. Cloud now sitting over here as well, and I'm a little curious as to why Hasu is not going for Colossi and High Templars once again. We do see that he does have that High Templar, and now trying to research, no, not even researching Psystorm yet. So these High Templars were going to have absolutely no abilities besides feedback, and the only thing you want to feedback are ghosts, so your other High Templar can Psystorm. We do see a group of Marauders and Marines over here, and now finally an armory being played down by Cloud. I'm not sure if Cloud wants to try to train up Thors, or if he wants to get those level 1 weapons upgrade for those siege tanks or those Viking air units. Hasu continue to move around with the warp prism here. Stalkers will be able to take down these destructible rocks with really no issue once again, trying to make its way closer, and now just using those particle disruptors to deal more and more damage. And back over here, we do see one probe now setting up a proxy pylon over here to the south of the north yellow high yield mineral location. Will be able to warp in units across that ledge, which is a very, very strong option. And now we see Marauders and Marines once again pushing out and now quickly taking down that probe. So a group of Marauders and Marines pushing out will be able to deal a lot of damage. How will Hasu now try to respond? Hasu does have a smaller army at this stage by about 800 minerals, so a 25% smaller army so far, and things are not looking good. We do see one Marine now trying to take down that probe down to 5 hit points. That one Marine may be able to chase after it if it tries to use stim. However, it will quickly get taken down very, very quickly, as well as a Marine able to only turn around, get one shot off on a Stalker, and now those Stalkers will be returning home. We also have a Raven now in the air by Cloud. So Cloud with a Raven in the air will be able to drop those point defense drones in order to stop any aggression. Also, he will be able to drop auto turrets just in case there are any expansions over here in this position. This one Raven needs to be awfully careful, otherwise it will get shot down to 23 hit points, and finally able to barely survive in that fight. And now we're going to see this one Raven perhaps try to come into this position and then drop some auto turrets to deal some damage across some of these probes. So waiting over here, we still have this run Raven, and now we also see a group of a group of High Templars and Stalkers on the high ground. So more units now being warped in as well, and now Hasu playing very, very smart play here. He will be able to get a lot of SCV kills, and now in comes a nice Psystorm. Psystorm dealing a lot of damage. 3 SCVs already down, and now trying to put even more pressure across more of these units. Some of those SCVs will need to manually be microed in order to be able to not find themselves on the wrong end of a particle disruptor continually. We do see one warp prism over here still in that phasing mode in order to be able to warp in additional units. We also have a group of Zealots and Stalkers trying to engage a group of Marauders and Marines. However, not enough medevacs, and in comes another Psystorm. So that Psystorm really softens up Cloud's army once again. We do see a group of High Templars now trying to get off more and more Psystorm off and able to kill 2 additional SCVs once again, 2 or perhaps even 3. And now Hasu has to be very, very confident of himself, realizing that he is in fact up in terms of harvester count, 54 compared to 43, and up in terms of gas count. So this is all looking very, very nicely for him as more Zealots and Stalkers are currently being trained. We do see these High Templars now moving out. Those High Templars move fairly slowly, and now once again Marauders and Marines able to just continue to fire up onto that high ground. Another medevac trying to get a feedback onto that. Able to get a feedback onto, I believe, another unit here, and another Psystorm quickly coming into position and now dealing a lot of damage. We do see a lot of Marauders in this position, as well as now we also see Hasu moving out with his army. But Cloud now trying to be very gutsy in taking this third base natural high yield mineral location when 2 prongs of this attack are already moving out. So Zealots and Stalkers now moving off to the north side will be able to get a lot of pressure. Will this be of any real significance or consequence? Trying to take down that one Marauder. That Marauder already down, and there it goes. mouzHasu does not have enough energy for any additional Psystorms, and I think that will be it. So more and more Zealots trying to come in, trying to offer their support, however quickly getting taken down. More Archons also coming in as well. However, that's going to be taken down, and now Cloud says GG. So Hasu doing a great job in this matchup, being able to counter attack Cloud with the proper units every time. Also getting a lot of ghosts, 9 ghosts to deal with a Protoss player. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay.